that disagree with me, I don't hold it against you. I think you've made some very compelling arguments today. I think you've made arguments from the heart. I think you've made arguments from the mind. And I think you've adopted an intellectual position that you believe is correct. And I respect that. There's been a lot of talk about maternal mortality rates. And Georgia does have a problem. We lose, depending on the year that we look at, we lose between 40 and 60 mothers, either in the process of being pregnant, the process of giving birth, or in the process a few days after giving birth. And we had a scary situation in my own experience with my wife where it got hairy there for a minute. And I would like to begin to paint a picture, and I want to paint a picture with a gumball. And if we can, I know this is a little difficult to do, but if we could cram in our minds every ounce of humanity and every ounce of love and every ounce of dignity that those 40 or 50 or 60 women have, if we could let a gumball illustrate them. They were mothers, they were sisters, they were daughters, they were entrepreneurs, they're scientists, they're musicians, they're politicians, they had dreams, they had fears. There's a lot that we're going to try to capture in this gumball. And this body has dedicated a tremendous amount of time, intellectual resources, and financial resources into recognizing, honoring, and trying to protect the dignity of every woman that we represented with this gumball. The senator from the 45th, wherever she is, has done a fantastic job of leading the charge in this issue. I'd like to thank her for that and for every one of you that have been a part of that. It's something that we take very seriously. If you'll give me a second. So if we can. Senator, please stand at ease for a moment. For what purpose does the senator from the 48th rise?
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
I refer the president to Rule 8-1.10, usage of audio-video equipment, visual aids, Section B, which I have brought to your attention, and I ask for a ruling on that, please, sir.
It's the interpretation of the chair to 8-1-10B. Sentence number 2, all visual aids shall be consistent with the dignity and decorum of the Senate. If this visual aid does not match the decorum of the Senate, I will call it out of order. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. So we have here something that we would all hold very dear, something that we would all say is worth protection. And if we come to the conclusion after asking those 3 very important questions, when does life begin? How do we know? And what if we're wrong? And if we come to the conclusion at that point that life begins in the womb, then I would like to bring another illustration to the table. And the senator from the 45th, if you don't mind assisting me with this. Senator, please stand at ease. For what purpose does the senator from the 48th rise?
Mr. President, it was brought to my attention this morning that we can't have more than one senator at the well. And again, my continuing objection to use of the visual aids that are not graphs and charts and consistent with the dignity and decorum of the Senate. Continuing objection.
Thank you. So recognized. Thank you, Mr. President. If I believe that this is worth protection, that this is worth expenditure of our intellectual resources, our financial resources, and if I believe that this is tragic, I also have to come to the conclusion that this is worthy of our protection, our intellectual resources, our financial resources, and everything else that we would say that we hold dear here. I know this is a tough issue. It's a difficult conversation. And ultimately, it is something that we all have to decide for ourselves. But for me, I have come to the conclusion after science has told us more and more what happens in the womb. After I have studied what the Constitution tells us is the paramount right, I have come to the conclusion that this is worth protection as well. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.